This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Most of the experts in the United States don't think that this is going to affect the effectiveness of the vaccine.
Some encouraging words from an Oregon health expert after the first confirmed U.S. case of a new and more contagious COVID variant. What we know about it and what's next. Plus, no sweets for young kids. The new dietary guidelines out this morning, with experts saying it is never too early to make every bite count. And just a couple of days left until 2021. Later, we will go around the world to see the different traditions people use to bring good luck in the new year. And we want to know about your New Year's traditions too. Do you guys always eat the same food, or maybe you have a special New Year's Eve outfit? Let us know. You can text us at 503-226-5088. Hey, good morning, everybody. Soon we'll be saying Happy New Year, but for now, it's Happy Wednesday. Rod, I'm going to leave it up to you. You can talk family traditions or the forecast.
Well, we always go to the coast. That's our simple tradition on New Year's Eve. We did that the first year that we got married, then my wife decided it was a thing. So we do it every year. All right, here we go. We have radar lit up pretty good. There's actually a little dry wedge. It's now around I-5 back to the coast, but rain will continue to pick up. We have snow down to 4,000 feet in the Cascades. We have light snow falling out in Hood River this morning, where the temperature out in the central gorge there is at 32 degrees. There's that little kind of dry break right now, but rain picking up at the coast. And this will go on to be, remember, is just a rainy day. Right now, 39 degrees. We'll see rain pick up during the morning. We'll get some heavy rain at times, 44 at noon and about 45 at 5 p.m. Britta.
All right, thank you, Rod. Topping your news at 5 a.m., Colorado has reported the first known case of the new coronavirus variant in the U.S. This is the mutation of the virus that was first reported in the UK and South Africa. Researchers say it may be significantly more contagious, but there's no research yet that it's any more deadly. Here's what we do know. The patient in Colorado is a man in his 20s with no known travel history. That suggests the virus is in his community. He'll recover in isolation until he's cleared. So far, health officials haven't identified anyone who may have come into close contact with him. Our sister station in Denver reports there's also a second suspected case of the new variant. Now that we know it's here in the States, what comes next? Keely Chalmers spoke with two local experts about that and how cases are going in Oregon.
So December was an amazing month. I think people really took seriously the calls to take precautions ahead of Thanksgiving.
Multnomah County's top doctor says although we're still seeing hundreds of new COVID cases every day across the Portland metro area, the overall case numbers and hospitalizations are stabilizing. Cases even slightly decreased over the last few weeks,
which is incredible when you look at the rest of the country.
But Dr. Jennifer Vines warns the risk is still high.
We are nervous to see what happens in January following both Christmas and New Year's.
And now confirmation that the highly infectious coronavirus variant has been discovered in Colorado.
Well, first of all, we know that coronavirus, like other viruses, mutate all the time.
Dr. Joe Sullivan is senior health advisor for Oregon Health Authority. He says this latest variant, discovered first in the United Kingdom and now in Colorado, is interesting in that it can spread much faster than the others.
The number of cases associated with this particular variant is really high. So probably 60% right now of all the cases in London and southern UK are related to this particular variant, which means that it suggests that it's spreading faster.
But Dr. Sullivan says most experts do not think this new mutation is going to impact the effectiveness of the COVID vaccine. That's because structurally the viruses are the same. The UK is using the Pfizer vaccine right now, so health experts there will be monitoring to see if people who get vaccinated get this variant. But they do not expect that will be the case. Dr. Sullivan says Oregon recently got funding that will allow experts here to do the same.
I think that that's still a possibility. I think the thing that people need to remember is there's no evidence that this variant is more dangerous in that it causes more severe disease. In fact, it may cause less severe disease. We don't know yet.
Dr. Sullivan points out because this new form of the virus spreads easier, it's even more important people get vaccinated when they're able to do so. In Portland, Keely Chalmers, KGW News.
So here's where the latest COVID cases stand. Oregon reported 713 new infections yesterday. Dr. Vine said cases are stabilizing so far this month, and you can see on this chart that the curve starts to go down a little bit. That is good. Yesterday, though, marked the 5th time in the last 6 days that Oregon has had fewer than 1,000 new cases a day. So as far as deaths go, the state also reported that there were 16 more people who lost their lives. Since the pandemic began, 1,449 people have died here. Let's get to 3 things to know about COVID right now. Number 1, starting Friday, 5 counties in Oregon will drop from extreme risk to high risk. That means restaurants can offer indoor dining and gyms can reopen with capacity limits. The counties are Clatsop, Coos, Douglas, Lincoln, and Morrow. They'll stay at this level through at least January 14th. Health officials reassess the risk levels every 2 weeks. Number 2, Clackamas County is still in the extreme risk category, so it can't have indoor dining or gyms yet. But the mayors of Sandy, Estacada, and Molalla are pushing for things to reopen there on Friday.
As far as the numbers are going up, they're not going up in our restaurants. Our restaurants, bars, businesses in our cities are practicing safe measures. They're cleaning tables, they're making the people practice social distancing, and it's a lot safer than doing any sort of gatherings in our own homes.
They held a rally in Estacada yesterday. About 100 people attended. And number 3, a 41-year-old congressman-elect from Louisiana has died from COVID complications. Republican Luke Letlow was just days away from being sworn in. He had just won a runoff to represent his state in the House. He revealed he tested positive for COVID less than 2 weeks ago. Within days, he was taken to the ICU. Letlow is survived by his wife and 2 young children. He's the first member or member-elect in Congress to die from COVID. And those are 3 things to know about COVID right now. In Cowlitz County, just a terrible scene. This rollover crash injured 5 teenagers. 2 of them had to be life-flighted to a Vancouver hospital. They're in critical condition this morning. Officials say their car rolled several times before catching fire. A Christmas tree is to blame for this apartment fire in southwest Portland. Firefighters say faulty lights sparked the flames. This happened yesterday at a complex on Meade Street. It's near OHSU. Firefighters got there within like 5 minutes and they contained the damage to 1 room. No one, fortunately, was hurt. Oregon's DMV is working through a backlog of customers. If you need to update your registration soon, you will be getting a little more leeway from law enforcement. But as Joe Ranieri explains, it's important to make an appointment soon.
Oregon DMV is still working through the thousands of people who are trying to get in.
We're just as busy or busier than ever. DMV is serving well over 25,000 customers a week by appointment, which is something that we're always looking to improve on.
Gone are the days of walking inside, grabbing a number, hoping they'll have time to see you before the end of the day. Like it has been during the entire pandemic, it's by appointment only right now, and those appointments are booked out for the next 2 to 3 months. Loren Mulligan is a spokesperson for the Oregon DMV. She said they're so busy, they're adding positions.
We're actually hiring additional temporary employees to conduct more behind-the-wheel drive tests so that we can serve as many Oregonians as possible.
Because they've been swamped since the pandemic hit and were only open for essential services, state lawmakers passed a moratorium that would protect drivers from getting a citation for an expired registration or driver's license. That moratorium expires on December 31st in just 2 days.
Now at the beginning of the year, although the moratorium has ended, we do have a grace period in place with law enforcement. And that means that Oregonians will have 3 months from when their card or their registration expired to get that handled with DMV.
Loren says it's best to book that appointment now to avoid any headaches next year.
DMV is serving more people per week right now than we were on average in 2019. We've really been able to take a look at the way that we're scheduling appointments and get as many people as possible in.
That grace period for expired licenses or expired registration is for people whose license or registration expired after November 1st of this year. Now, you'll have until the end of April to get everything figured out with the DMV. For more information on how to book your appointment with the DMV, just head to our website at kgw.com and we'll connect you. Joe Ranieri, KGW News.
This morning, we want to take you out live to Drive 8. Photojournalist Eric Patterson is in the gorge. He's driving along I-84. He just passed Multnomah Falls. The windshield wipers are going. I can't quite tell from that shot. Is that icy precipitation? Is it just wet? Let's check in with Rod. I know you've got radar fired up. You know what's going on.
Well, I will tell you, it is 32 by the time you get into Hood River. And Hood River in the city has been reporting some light snow this morning. It doesn't look like it's consequential yet in terms of travel, but something we're keeping an eye on. When you get up in elevation in the gorge, Crown Point, the Vista House reporting a number of 33. So I imagine there are some snow showers up in those high hills this morning. But as we just saw from Eric Patterson, so far I-84 looks like it's all right, and it is rain in the west end of the gorge. Let's jump up to the Cascades. Here's Government Camp. I know it's hard to see, but it's a temperature of 34 degrees. Looks like there is at least some new snow on the road. And then this is Santiam Pass. That's buried snow. I know you probably can't see this well at home. I can barely see it, and I'm standing in front of it. This is Willamette Pass, and that's pretty snowy, too. So there is a winter weather advisory for the Cascades today. Accumulating snow over the pass is expected. Front comes in this afternoon. That's that big band of clouds you see. Here's the radar right now. It is picking up some snow in the Columbia River Gorge. So, again, we'll be keeping an eye on that, but so far not seeing there are any travel concerns. Kind of dry between Portland and Salem, but raining at the coast, and rain will be picking up through the day. And we're also picking up some snow in the high hills outside of Woodland up in southwest Washington. There are the gorge temps right now, 31 in Odell, 32 in Hood River, as I mentioned. Portland is in the upper 30s at this hour. We'll be 46 today. Rain picks up, kind of wet, and really pretty wet the rest of the week, Brenda Braxton.
Is right. Thank you, Rod. Coming up next on Sunrise, 2 officers involved in the raid that killed Breonna Taylor may soon be out of a job. We'll have that headline and more in your morning rush. Plus,
careful not to get a grape that is bitter, because then you have to watch out for that mom.
haven't heard that before. Definitely not your typical New Year's tradition. But we'll take a look at other cultures' good luck go-tos as we prepare to ring in 2021.